Yeah, glad you joined us tonight. Uh, on the comment section, I have a request. Bob, you wanted to address the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Um, well, before we get into approving the minutes, then I'll ask you to come up and you can share with us what's on your mind.
Are you ready now?
You ready? Yes, yes, come on up.
Formula for Operation 424 North Third Street. The formula that's stated in the minutes is wrong for the revenue. It would, if you follow the formula, it would give up about $19 million a year. I don't think that's the intent. I think the problem is it's 650 feet at $400 a foot per year. Am I right?
400 feet times 6.5.
Okay, whatever. I had it backwards. But the times 365 needs to come out of there.
That's the daily dockage. It's 365 days a year. So LOA times tariff dockage rate times 365, and then you factor in the revenue split.
So how long is the docket space? 450,
400.
400?
Yes, sir.
And then the daily rate is 6.5 a foot.
It is. So if you look in the tariff, our dockage rates are slotted based on vessel size, and that's really because smaller vessels have theoretic less impact on the infrastructure, whereas a much larger vessel pays not only because they're longer, but they're also wider and they do more wear and tear on the bollers and the fin ring, so they have a higher dockage rate. Our lowest stated dockage rate is 0 to 50. I should know this.
I think you're close. We should know that.
Yeah.
I think you're close.
I find the minutes confusing. I multiplied out the formula and I figured that Opa's annual share was $19 million.
Well, okay.
Yeah, like
About 525 feet is 0 to 525. It's the first. So it goes 650 a linear foot per day. And then from 526 to 625, it goes up to 950 per foot per day. And then vessels over 626 get $11.85 per day. So it's nearly double. And then there's another line item for cruise ships, but we don't do those here.
See, so there's something wrong with the formula. But
Okay.
it reads 650 times 400 times 365 times 0.2.
I think the problem is 6.5 instead of 650. That's problem.
6.5.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
6.5.
Yeah.
And you
I
don't
mean, I don't want to take the money away, but I don't want there to be any future confusion.
Give him monopoly money.
Mr. Virtue, which minute is that? May
First one,
May 13th.
13.
yeah, May 13th.
I personally think it should be 19.
It's not a mistake, right? It's correct. You see it
Do you have the payment?
further down.
We don't want to be mine. Yeah,
Yeah,
6.5.
It should be 6.5.
Okay, thank you.
So say goodbye
Well-
to 19 million.
If we're being precise about it, it's just written wrong. So it should be 400 feet
Okay,
times $6.5 per day times 365 times 20.
Thank you. I just want to be, I don't want.
Hey, good eye.
5 years from now, somebody might say,
Yeah.
where's my $19 million?
Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
While we're on May 13th,
I'll correct that
okay, I have a correction on page number 7.
on May 13th.
the paragraph D. Right there in the first paragraph, where it, says OPA will need to call on, reality. That should be.
Relativity.
Yeah, okay. Not reality. That should be.
This what?
Relativity. Yeah, relativity, yeah. But that should change right there to relay.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a,
Yeah, we don't want that.
yeah,
Change it to relay.
yes.
Relay, yeah,
Thank you.
all right, moving on. Do we have a motion to approve separately or jointly?
I'll make a motion to approve jointly pending the changes identified in the nature.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 8, attorney report.
I prepared the facility use fee letter, that we've been working on for, so do you want me to bring to talk? I think we'll just wait till it comes up on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I prepared that this month and, yeah, there were no other real pressing issues. Still researching public records and revenue for you, and the board, as Chair Moore. Vice Chair Moore asked me the definition of revenue, and I said, oof, that's a loaded question. So I did some research and I'm working on a short memo. It's not going to take you very long on how revenue is defined. Not necessarily, of course, for our purposes with regard to the operating agreement, but I think it's just kind of more general than that too, is how is it treated? Commercial settings.
Well, it talks about, this goes to the monthly reporting. Document forfeiture and revenues. Revenues can be very broad,
Yes.
or it can be very narrow. And of course, it's specified in the operating agreement constituted revenues, the broad category. So I guess we default then to the Florida state definition of what revenues.
So in writing. And that's really all. And I'll speak more about the facility use fee draft letter later.
Tammy, several months ago, we asked to approve a easement for a hotel.
Well,
That's to the south of warehouse 3.
yeah. There was a temporary easement and a permanent easement.
Construction easement.
The temporary easement was for construction for the drainage to occur on OPA property. And basically, so they could use the property to access the private property next door. The permanent easement that was approved was on the private property owner's property. So that stormwater from OPA can go through that private property and the drainage structures. And so technically you need. Yeah, but that is all complete as far as I know. The temporary construction easement had an automatic termination at the end of the construction.
We haven't heard anything. Starting or anything.
Ted or Travis, I don't know if they know anymore. Have you heard anything from the property owner itself building that little hotel and their stormwater work? Okay.
I have not. It's just for stormwater easement, nature trail.
Correct. It's only drainage. And remember, with regard to OPA's property being burdened, that was just a temporary easement. Their property is burdened with a permanent easement so that OPA's stormwater can flow through it.
Okay.
Okay, anything further? All right, accountant's report.
So you have the monthly treasurer report in your package. Obviously we received the quarterly fee payment from the operator. And all the normal bills, the accountant, the court attorney and the office administrator, and then, we paid the final payment, I'm assuming is the final payment for the website development, that 3261, is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Right, so we spent the 8,293.53 total for that project. So, and then obviously we have the account balances on the next page. And, the infrastructure fee for the pilot payment, and then the facility usage fee. So I guess we'll talk about later also. So. All right, any questions?
Any questions on that? Okay. Right. Moving on to item 10. Bob, I see you have item 10 on your list. Would you come up and tell us what you got?
Bob Virtue, 424 North Third Street. I would just ask Mr. McNair, give us an update on the labor to the degree that you can. I realize some of the information may still be confidential, but any
Are you talking about,
kind of update on your report, added to your report would be good.
is the long-term deal with relativity?
Yes,
Yeah, so we're locked and loaded. We've signed our agreement with them. I've signed my agreement with the port, and so they will call Fernandina home starting November 1st.
okay, are they gonna take the house to use that?
They are. Yeah, we've I need to remind me to do that tomorrow. We hired an architect to start the process. As you probably have forgotten more than I know about this, historic renovations are
Oh, I know.
not quick and not easy, so we're starting the process then.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you, Bob.
You didn't mean that they, or did you? I'm thinking that.
What?
That relativity was taking some property at the house. You just meant that they're going to occupy that.
Right, they will lease it.
Okay.
Yep, it'll be their office. So and I'll just add, I mean, I think everybody knows this, but I think they'll be fantastic neighbors. You know, they'll be daytime only. It'll be their office, and so it should be all quiet.
Better than a restaurant.
Better than a restaurant. There you go.
Yeah.
That was a good restaurant.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are they planning on making any renovations while they're there?
To the Blue House?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna have to do that. Yep.
Okay.
And so that's why I've engaged an architect to start the process, because as I quickly learned in the historic district, you don't just start work.
For sure. All right, moving on to the port operator report, Mr. McNair.
All right, before we talk about tons, I just say we're missing a couple of people here, but you're probably missing a big fella in here, Davis. So he is the proud new father of twin girls.
Oh, good.
So they were born yesterday. So everybody's healthy and accounted for. So he's got his hands full. What's that?
He's at work. 'Cause now
He's at his main job.
out.
I don't have is it? Yep. So, you're starting to see a trend here. These sort of every other month shipments coming in. I'd say the positive is Summer's All has peaked back up. We're in kind of the rush season for them. They're moving a lot of boxes now to get to Bermuda for their busy season. We did have a vessel or two push into this month from last month. So, I'd love for that not to be such a valley. It should be more smooth, but we did have a vessel that pushed in. We just finished it a couple of days ago. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything's going well. We're still injury free. The guys are doing a good job of keeping the place clean, being efficient, safe, efficient, reliable. That's our ethos. I would say that beyond just the cargo counts, I'm going to be headed to Europe next week to go to Breakbulk Europe. We touch a lot of customers over there, and what I've found is they'll sometimes make a trip over and do a road show, but you know, we need to put a little more effort forward. I love all of our customers, but you know, there's always more we can do. And you know, there's some targets that I really want to focus in on over there in Rotterdam. So it's, you know, not a cheap thing to do, but you know, I'm gonna be headed over there next week. Any questions?
You're not driving, are you?
I'm not driving. No.
Sure. Need somebody to go with you.
Scott did, you know, I'll send you my itinerary.
All right, on the item B, facilities report and repair. I think, I was out there the other day looking, everything looks in order. Is there anything that is being worked on that I may not have seen?
Um. Maintenance wise for the facility, other than, we just I had purchased a new valve for the water main, backing up, other than that. Facilities, no.
You seen that water main where it just,
Yeah, that backflow preventer.
It's a I had to replace it, we just ordered it, backflow preventer, $6,000 thing, but I mean, it's better than Chris going in and taking parts apart and not have the pieces together and then no water whatsoever at that point, so we elected to go with a brand new version.
yeah,
All right. The other thing associated with that is I know you had a meeting with the railroad, and when we were out there the other day with the senator's regional director, I noticed that where they tore up that ramp on the north end and replaced it with the gravel, they have a huge mess there. Was that discussed for them to move that out?
all right, how should I phrase this? I did. Verbally, it was said, don't worry about it, it's taken care of. And then I was copying on an email with one of their engineers who got snappy with me real fast, talking about, well, you've got to do this agreement and that agreement. So, you know, I called one of the guys up there this morning and I said, we're literally at a crossroads here. Like, you tore up my crossing. I know I'm responsible for it. You tore it up, you didn't put it back. Shame on us for not holding you accountable, but this is an open and shut case here. You need to put it back. And so they assured me, no. I said, I really don't want to do the whole lawyer route, but I don't know how to, like, you're G and W. I've gone up against you before. I'm not going to do it because I'll lose. So what do you want to do? And he said, listen, give me 2 weeks. Let me run this up the flagpole to regional and see if we can get some traction here. We all agree internally it's the right thing to do. So, you know, to be determined. I tell you this, at the next meeting, you'll have an update one way or another, because it's just not gonna fly for us.
I mean, like you say, they come in, they tore it up, and they knew that that was their responsibility, and they just walked out.
I mean, Chairman, I don't care, it's public comments, but I'll just say it. I mean, we don't have to unlock the gate for them.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want to play that game,
yeah,
but
I
that's
understand.
we do have the ultimate trump card.
I fought them blocking the ramps almost 12 years.
Yeah.
It was almost you. So, but I appreciate that update.
It's Crane 9 part of facilities report and facilities talk. Crane 9, I mean, do you want me to discuss any of that? Or do you want me to move later on?
Whole business, and I want to stay with the facility. Anybody have any questions on the tonnage report, the activity? Moving down to new business. I know at the last meeting, we had the commercial salesperson come in and talk to us. Anything new that can be reported, or she's still diligently doing?
Yeah, we're still going after. We do have another KLB ship lined up 22nd of this month, so that'll be a good shot in the arm. We are still fighting for one of our pulp customers sends lumber to another port, and we're, you know, it's one of my main issues going over there. We're trying to get some lumber in here. Lumber's way down, but It's good volume. It's already coming to another port and it's already coming on the voyage on Saga vessel. So we're trying to work through in short, they want to come to us. They want to call Fernandina home, but it's not in their charter agreement to discharge the lumber in Fernandina. It's at another port. So I'm working some contacts with the carrier. They're working on their end. We're hoping we can sew this thing up for end of the summer and start getting some new lumber in here.
That sounds good.
Is this other point you're, talking about in Florida? Yeah. Do you have a tendency to, visit the hospital?
Yeah.
I mean, you. Florida ports will,
Oh man. So,
steal the business from other
yep.
ports. And, half of the travel.
That's
Um,
why when we were talking to the regional director from the senator's office, we made it very clear the flexibility and the accessibility to the Port of Fernandina. And she was going to take that back.
yep.
That was going to be one of her areas to take back and share with them. So any other follow-up on that?
So I know it's further down, we're gonna talk about FDOT, but I don't. I think the C-Hub grant application, I think the gist of 12A is to talk about what we're going to apply for. I just wanted to let everybody know when it comes to facilities, we did have the generous sort of one-time exception from FDOT to give us, so as a reminder, we have, let's see, we have where is it? Basically the roof, the crane rail removal, the fencing and the lighting. So those are all loaded up. We did have they found a glitch in C-Hub. So I submitted it and didn't do the allocations correctly with the match, and there's no edit feature. So FDOT's trying to fix it now where you can undo it, but they're working with the developer to get that done. But I'm trying to push them to do it because we really, these are fixes we need now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while it's in C-Hub, those are not the annual submissions, which we're talking about.
Right.
All right. Moving down to D, if you notice that on the agenda, new truck grant. I had a conversation with Mr. McNair. Come to find out, there was a grant from I guess, a lawsuit with Volkswagen. If you would,
Yeah, if you remember, I think this was in 2009, there was a national scandal with Volkswagen where I actually read the book about it, where they tricked their computer, the computer software in their diesels, where it knew when it was on a testing facility and it would switch over and do less emissions, which was not sustainable. But then when it was in real world, the emissions just flowed. And so when they got caught, they did this huge settlement and, for tens of billions of dollars. So anyway, it's just the scraps left over from that program. And I think, Florida Environmental Protection, FEP, yeah, they did a school bus program 2 years ago, and then through our lobbying efforts, we said, hey, we should do, port trucks. And so Davis's credit, he carried the water on this, and we signed up for it. They were able to change the language in it for port operators, stevedores to apply for it, not just port authorities, because when they actually went to the department and explained, hey, here's how it actually worked. A lot of port authorities don't own these dray trucks. They don't own Tyco trucks or whatever. And so we were able to apply and we did win. So we're going to submit the last of the paperwork this week.
Yeah, it's almost wrapped up as of today. I think we'll finish the touches tomorrow. Yes.
Yep. So we'll have 3 new terminal trucks, ultra low emission, clean trucks, and we'll be getting rid of some of the junk ones we got there. So good story.
it is a good story, and it'll benefit the operations at the terminal. It may not seem like it, but when the men see new equipment coming on, it is a definitive morale booster. I mean, they see these new rigs, they see the new forklifts, and morale starts to elevate. So yeah, that is a positive there. Thanks for sharing that. Moving on down to 11 with old business, the fabric warehouse. I think we're just still in the deciding, we know where it's going.
Yep.
What about the permit status?
So here's the deal, Chairman. We'd signed up Coker, which I love their company. I think they're just underwater right now with a lot of other projects. Plus, they're about to embark on our crane project. Talk to Travis, we're just not moving fast enough. So we're casting the net a little bit further. We're gonna come up with a short list and try to get somebody who can move us a little faster because I want to move this thing along as quick as y'all do. Travis, anything else to add?
I just want to add, it's pretty much mutual agreement. I have the utmost respect for Mr. Coker, and he's all over it and does a great job at everything he does. He, like Ted said, he's about getting Crane 10 refurbishment. This conversation, it's just moved on. He actually gave me some names. I've contacted one of them. We'll be talking to them and having a meeting with them in the morning. And also reached out to another company today, MJ Wood. So, I mean, that's in construction, MJ Wood, and I'm looking for a third one too, just to work in that. I mean, my apologies for not having the update. But yeah, that's where we've been at right now. But moving forward, you would get those.
All right, mentioning MJ Wood. I've had personal experience with them at Fort Fernandina. They are very good, reputable.
They've done a bunch of work since I've been here in the last year. So yeah.
Really?
No, right.
We'll go down to, B Crane 9, funding resolution 2026 R5. I think we discussed that at the last meeting. There's been a request. The only thing is I haven't seen any paperwork. We still,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Get up and down. I just got the final, so I had the invoice for actually purchasing the cable, 7,200 and some change. Just got the final invoice back from Atlas.
Yeah.
But they gave us the original invoice. I asked for a little bit of a reprieve on it. They knocked it down some. So I mean, I just got that and I didn't have time to get it in the packet. So I will have it for the next meeting for sure.
okay, all right, that's what, we just want to make sure that we're not dragging the feet. We want to get you your money. Because that's the way it should be. If I owe you, I pay you. If you owe me, you pay me.
Yep.
And, but we do, and we've said this, I've said this, we need the paperwork so that we can see and confirm and verify. We'll move on.
And it has all the documentation. It has like 20-something pages of backup on it. So
Okay, all right, very good. All right, the Crane 10, refurbishment project, you kind of alluded to some of that just a minute ago.
Yeah, so we've gotten agreements from two of the three before the meeting, and I just forwarded the agreement from Coker to the attorney and Rosanna. So I think we're underway, right, Tammy? What'd you say?
Yes. I mean, those two.
Okay. And you've got the other one in your inbox as of about an hour ago.
Yes, I saw it.
So we should, hopefully we'll start, as soon as we get the red lines done and get signed up, we should roll. I mean, I want to go as fast as possible because we need to do it.
And some of I added a sheet with additional terms. They're required by Florida.
Mhm.
So there shouldn't be anything objectionable. I don't think it.
Chairman, I did update the pilots on the situation, and they were very pleased to hear not only the crane refurbishment, but the new fenders, the fact that we're gonna put new lighting up. They're very pleased to hear they're finally seeing some progress with some of these projects.
Well, I can speak for myself, and I believe the board would echo that. We are seeing forward motion now. You see it on our part, we see it on your part, and I think that's going to go a long way in getting rid of some of this, let's just say, distrust
Mhm.
Once you do what you say and we do what we say, that's how you dispel it. So I think with the way that things are taking shape, hopefully in the very near future, we can just dispel that all together.
Yep.
And work as a solid team to move the Fort Fernandina forward.
I agree.
I appreciate it. All right, we'll move to D, facility usage fee, and Tammy, I know you wanted to speak to that.
I did, has everybody had a chance to look at the letter? Basically, it's based on the operating agreement. The operator agrees to provide a one-time $50,000 fee. The language in the agreement says at such point as the fund reaches $50,000. So we're just going right there. There's your $50,000. Then the next sentence talks about a 3% of the facility use fee paid to OPA would be used for OPA's operating expenses. So what I put in the letter was OPA should be getting that 3% right away without an offset for insurance. We should be collecting that on a monthly basis. Back to when year 7 started, October 2024. And then we understand that there is an offset for the property casualty insurance premiums, which we know are about 400,000 a year, roughly. I think a little less. You said it, but 400,000 a year. And so then Ted sent me an email and said he understood what I was writing, and he thinks, and his team thinks, that the property insurance, the set off, should not necessarily start, which is what I wrote in the agreement. The set off for property casualty insurance begins year 7, October 2024, roughly. And Ted and his team thinks it needs to go back to 2018 when the operating agreement did I?
Well,
Not right.
yeah, so, well, first of all, I lost my attorney.
Well,
That's problem one.
there's lots of others. There's 100,000 in Florida and they're a good firm, so you'll be all right.
I know, but he knew all this stuff and then he just bailed on me. I'm kidding. We wish him well.
That's all right. If I need to, I can text John and,
Yeah.
get some
No.
historical stuff, but
I don't think the approach was going back to 2018. It's starting at year 7, but it rolls over. Like what I'm saying is, if let's just say it was $400,000 in year 7, and we only collected 200,000, right? That's a 200,000 that should roll over
okay.
from year to year, not starting in 2018.
So the clarification that we did, the first clarification in operating
Mhm.
specifically said that the insurance wasn't gonna roll over. Because we had this debate about the insurance and should that accrue
Right. I'm not.
year to year to roll over, which would essentially wind up us holding whatever.
No. If you do the math, we still will pay OPA money. It starts in like 2031 or something. I think that's when it would start.
And then you said the first clarification of the operating.
When you say that, you meant the amendment that's done
Yeah, I mean, there was a,
2022.
I think it was called the first, I think it was called, it was some, yeah, 2022, maybe a year earlier than that. I'll have to find it, the actual document. But yeah, we sat down and discussed, well, and this is where, when do the quarterly payments get paid? When do they due?
Okay.
There was a bunch of just, when we first turned on the agreement, when was that money actually due?
When was this done?
payments- This would have been, I'm gonna say 2018, 2019, 2020. I'll send it to you, I'll find it.
Okay.
But essentially, one of the specific items that we discussed in there was the rollover of insurance. Okay, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'll have to go back and read it. But I distinctly remember, because that was the debate, because obviously, rolling over the insurance, even at 60,000, even at, back in 2018, because we weren't getting any fees, obviously that would continue to roll over and build up, and all of a sudden we wind up owing a bunch of money. And so we specifically said that no, the insurance was based on the fees that were available in that year, right? So if the earnings weren't enough to cover the insurance in this exact case, right, even at 100% of the fees, we may or may not have $400,000 to cover the insurance, right? Well, no, that wouldn't roll over because obviously we never catch up at any point, right? So It was always gonna be, and again, I will find that document and send it.
Okay, send it to me.
But
And me too,
If
because I'm not sure I've ever seen it.
it's fiscal, again, this was definitely one of the points that we addressed in there, that it did not roll forward, that it specifically addressed.
But that document didn't address the 50,000 one-time payment.
No, not at that, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay, yeah, send that to me. We'll,
So I think the best thing is to be continued so that we don't waste any more time tonight, because I wasn't aware of that document. And Pierre, although he gets copied we just, probably the three of us, maybe we can either,
Yeah, well, like I said, this is stuck her.
exchange,
For sure.
he sent me an email. We'll exchange documents and then maybe we'll get on a call.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, but, yeah, so, yeah.
just let me know.
Yeah, but like I said, for sure that, I read them generally, but yeah, this
Thank
definitely that part. I'm 99% sure we discussed.
Okay.
That's in there.
We'll work it out when we have all the facts. Apologize for any confusions.
All right, so Roseanne, I'm gonna ask if you will add that to the July 8th meeting, and we'll revisit at that time, give everybody a chance to get the document straight.
Pierre, if you find that document, make sure I'm sure you will, make sure the commissioner is sure.
Yeah, oh, I have it for sure. Okay, and actually,
Sure.
Karen, she should have it. Yeah, what's it called? What's the resolution number? Whatever it is. But like I said, it was again early on, and it was clarifying a bunch of these different issues that were in it.
Okay, anything else on that? All right, I want to step back to see just for a second. Crane number 10 refurbishment. We do have the two contractors that we've identified.
The three.
There's three. Coker's gonna be in that group. Exactly, right?
They're doing all the mechanical.
Okay,
So they'll rebuild every motor on that crane, including the main up top, which is the big Cummins generator.
the main engine.
Yeah, that'll be taken out and rebuilt.
Okay. All right, we have any further discussion on that, any questions on that? I just want to make sure that we cover it. So that as we move along, somebody doesn't come up with something, but okay, for clarity, so those three contractors are.
And can we at least, and I'll defer to Rosanna if she thinks. So for the two contracts that were marked up by me that have the red lines were included in the agenda. Should the contractors agree to those changes? Are Rosanna, rather than bring it back again, can they approve the agreement with those changes tonight?
I would appreciate it because NIDAC is the longest lead time for the electrical components.
It just depends on if the board read it,
Oh,
the red line. I mean, how,
well, it's up to them. If they didn't read it and they want to trust us, they can
I
too.
don't have a problem.
And nobody's pushing me. I'm just thinking, we are already gonna have Coker. We don't have an agreement. That's gotta come back here, right? On the 22nd, hopefully. But
We don't have a second meeting this month.
That's right.
That's why I was pushing Coker really hard. That's why I'm
Okay with it.
I mean, I would like to have everything finalized. I know that that's not a very favorable way to run. But for the sake of the two commissioners that are absent tonight, we need to give them an opportunity to look at this. The board needs to be in agreement. And then we move forward. That way we don't get caught with a uh-oh, and we have to go back and do a lot of corrections. So I would ask that we address that on 7-8. That way it gives everybody time to get their ducks in a row, and then we can do it with clear conscience. Everything is transparent. We move forward. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right, let's move down to E. USDA Rural Business Development Grant Application. Vice Chair Moore.
Yes, we have a cadence that we've developed that is 2 meetings a month, and that anytime we have 1 meeting a month, it tends to throw things off. This was originally presented at last meeting. This has to do with our Front Street property. United States Department of Agriculture has a rural business development grant program that includes in it feasibility studies. And this is a feasibility study related to the Front Street property. So I wrote it myself, so be gentle. We would be requesting $100,000 total for the project, with 75,000 coming from United States Department of Agriculture and 25,000 as a match from OHPA. This is different than the port, which typically has relay as the match provider. This is OHPA providing match, because it's a parcel of property that's separate from the port. So this was forwarded earlier late last week, earlier this week,
This week.
for to the commissioners for review. Pretty straightforward. I will entertain questions from any commissioners related to it, or any of the staff, that's your staff.
Now, is this we're talking about the Lime Rock Yard right there?
Yeah, next to Beacon.
Okay,
And this is just a feasibility study. This doesn't commit to construct.
I'm assuming we're gonna have to hire consultants.
Yeah.
So if you had any discussions about it, that could cost or
Well,
what we get for $100,000.
yeah, the grant is for $100,000, which is typical in my research of
I mean, I would think
feasibility
it's
type
fine.
studies.
Should be more than enough, but
Yeah,
obviously, maybe, obviously we have, whether it be an engineer firm, when who's gonna do this, then maybe just get some kind of X, here's what you would get for
yeah.
X or Y.
But as I said, this doesn't commit us to any construction. It's just a feasibility study to determine the highest and best use of that property. The suggestions in it, because they like to see specific suggestions, will developing it as a commercial fishing dock, landside packing storage facility. Developing it as a dock and landside facility dedicated to transit vessels, transiting the ICW from the Northeast US to South Florida. General commercial marine dock with support servicing ultimate uses. Those were just the three broad categories. Obviously, if we do get this grant, and the company that is selected to do the feasibility study is not limited by those, but those are just kind of the suggestions, the broad area suggestions to get the ball rolling. So to speak. The grant period would be approximately 12 months, and at which point we would get a final study of the highest and best use for that piece of property.
Mr. Mayor, you have any comments on that?
I mean, I guess, it's y'all's property. It's not in the operating agreement, I don't think. I would just say that we do rely on it for, surge parking when we do have like a KLB export vessel. It's just somewhere where especially temp people can park out of harm's way. So losing it would be not ideal, but I understand that, y'all have to look at your assets and judge them accordingly.
Well, I want to say it's probably not going to be very popular, but I think it's practical. We have so many items within that fenced, restricted area that need attention. I think that it would probably behoove the board to assist you in getting those items taken care of. And then once we have that done and we have the cranes back online like they should be, we have the roof fixed. The way I look at it, for me to sit here and say, hey, just keep giving it to me. But in the meantime, I'm going down here and look at something else or invest money down here. I think we got to work as a team. And we need to get on board. And you need to work with us, like I just said a few minutes ago, I see happening. That property, and we've discussed this 4 years ago when I was first elected. It's critical when you have a large vessel or you have multiple vessels, you have to have someplace to park people. You can't just park anywhere out there, especially now. So I think, yes, this may be a good idea at some point in time. But right now, we got issues with the terminal. We still got a maintenance dredging that we've got to get done. Yeah, we had some time bought with, the new business coming in. But it's not it's not gonna take care of the problem forever. We gotta uphold our. So with all due respect, Mr. Chair, or, Mr. Vice Chair, I think that this would be fine, in due time. But right now, I just think that we've got other pushing, issues that need to be addressed.
I would counter by saying, if not now, when? We have this piece of property that's sat fallow for years and years and years. It's never been the right time. OPA is more than just, and talked about this numerous times. OPA is more than just certainly the Port Authority is one. Very important. It's the only real operational asset that we have right now. But as we've learned and we've worked through our different budget challenges over the years, putting all our eggs in the Port of Fernandina basket as our only source of revenue is problematic. We have a parcel that is zoned for industrial waterway use. I believe this grant doesn't really commit us to anything except for the $25,000 match. I believe it's, as I said, if not now, when? We have to do something. We are not in a financial situation where we can afford to have pieces of property that just sit idly vacant.
Well, I don't think it's sitting idly vacant per se, because it is still being used. I've seen vehicles parked in there from time to time based on your vessels. When I was out there at the port, we were running 2 and 3 gangs, on vessels. That thing was full, and we had people parking on the side of the street. So yes, it is used. I know you go by there sometimes, there's nothing in there. But I've even seen, spreaders in there. I've seen trucks in there, because you need to move them out of the way, and have that room on the terminal.
Especially with flooding.
So you need to move them over. I would just say, we need to look at that, and yeah, $25,000 that we gotta come up with. I'm looking at the accounting, and I'm gonna ask him, where would we get the 25? I mean, because when we get into this stuff, you gotta have money up front. And I realize that, but my point is, it's a usable asset for the operator. He has to have. If not, you're gonna have problems with the city, with people parking on the right of way out there. It's not gonna work. I've been down that road. I mean, I've had the police come and tell me, you gotta get all them cars moved.
Well, I don't wanna stick my nose in y'all's business, but if you read the fine print on this grant application, you can do 100% request. I know that takes your chances way down, but maybe that could be a compromise to let them go forward and file the application, knowing that it has a way less chance of success than with a match. Just an idea. Just throw it out there.
I'm going to, at this point, move that subject matter to the 7-8 meeting, where we'll have the other 2 commissioners.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, that's right. See, we're up against the time limit. So we can't, it's due the 16th, correct?
30th.
The 30th?
So we will have access to some of those. we have a new contract. It's gonna bring regular funds, the new dockage contract. Obviously, so we do have access to funds to fund this potentially in the next 12 months. We're gonna fund right this minute in 12 months from now.
But here we've got three of the commissioners here, the other two are absent tonight. I think there's further discussion that needs to be had on this. Here we are right up against the deadline. Seems like that's the way we operate here, though. Yes, ma'am.
If I could I read what Commissioner Hill said
Sure.
over the text?
Absolutely.
She said our strategic master plan already looked at that property and made recommendations.
This is what I'm saying. We would like to move ahead and Vice Chair, I understand that you've been consistent about trying to find a usage for that. But there's got to be a balance between wants and wishes and exactly what the operator's going to need for him to operate. I mean,
So, okay.
go ahead.
So obviously the grant process, remember the grant process is we're gonna apply for it. I'm assuming this is gonna work similar to the other grants, right? Which means that we're gonna apply for it. Whether we get it awarded or not, right, obviously, then the grant agreement spelling out the details of needs to be approved by the board before the money actually comes. So there's a lot of different steps where we could at any point, where again, when the grant agreement comes, we could say, no, we've changed our minds. So I just put it again, this is not if you apply for it, doesn't mean you're gonna spend the money. There's three more steps that you have to go through before you actually get, the grant agreement's gonna contain all the parameters under which this has to be spent, what can be spent on, blah, 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 blah. That has to be approved and signed by the board and by them, obviously, before we can move. So there's at least three more steps to go, even if you did the first step of just applying for it, just to say, let's see if we get it first.
I understand that, but I also understand it's going to create work
Yeah, I'm just saying.
outside,
Yep.
in order to do the research on this, to get the facts and figures together on something that we've heard from the operator said is a valuable asset to their operation. To me, that's just that's just driving the nail in the wrong hole. But in the spirit of fairness tonight, if either one of the commissioners want to motion to move this forward, I'll call a vote.
Thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate it. Read, Commissioner Hill's
Message again?
message again, please.
She said our strategic master plan already looked at that property and made recommendations.
She wasn't,
You want her to expand on that?
no, I don't want her to expand on it, but I just, that statement, does that, how do you take that?
Can she vote by text?
No,
Yeah, right. So,
no, because she's not officially, we didn't, no,
Right.
that would be,
How do you?
but putting a message from her is fine.
Commissioner Cole entered.
I know,
a vote.
but we counted her as absent
Yeah.
tonight. We didn't count her as here.
In the beginning.
And yeah, and so I think that what she's saying is that the strategic plan, and when did you complete the strategic plan? Within the last couple of years, right?
2024.
23,
The last couple, few years. I think what she's saying is that there has been in the strategic plan, that there has been a look at that. Maybe it wasn't a full-blown feasibility study, but that probably should look at what the recommendations there are.
it wouldn't hurt to get some ideas.
Again, we're right up against the deadline, so it's either, make a decision or it dies on the vine.
Again, appreciate your work on, your comment about not having places to park people. Couldn't we utilize those lots up by the customs building if we had to? I mean, is that a possibility?
No.
I don't think that's, we've always taken that off of the board, because of liability issues. Okay,
Aren't those lots to the same lots that the board wanted to have rezoned? They're residentially zoned. I'm pretty sure they're residentially.
yes, they
zoned.
are.
So you cannot use a residentially zoned,
Right.
I mean, maybe for a day for an event,
Mhm.
but the city's eventually gonna come after you if you use it on an ongoing basis for parking.
I'm sure that piece of property has a very valuable usage. But right now, the way it's sitting is more valuable to the operator than it's not going unused. I see it. They are using it. I used it when I was there and it was beneficial to me. So I would hate to see something that they can use taken away from them.
But I think in the, you know, in our current financial situation with our single stream of revenue. We have a fiduciary responsibility to look at all our pieces of property and determine what the highest and best use is for each one of those, so that we can be less dependent on the fourth as our only source of. This is an attempt to do that. This is an attempt to take a piece of property that's separate from the board and turn it to a revenue generating potentially a facility that can generate revenue for OPA, which will allow us to further engage in business development throughout the county.
Yeah, and
Can you bring that resolution?
Yeah.
Like to make a motion to pass the resolution that's on the screen. Resolution of the Ocean Highway Port Authority authorizing the submission of an application for a USDA Rural Business Development Grant in the amount of $100,000 for a feasibility study related to development of OPA property on North Front Street in the city of Fernandina, providing for a $25,000 local match from OPA funds and authorizing necessary actions in connection therewith. Do I need to read the entire
No.
resolution?
All right, so that is your motion.
I will second it due to the deadline conflict that we have here. And I wish the other commissioners were here, but get us started on it. And what you're saying too, Pierre, is there's other steps before we actually lock into any monies or expend any funds. So if we've got that safety net available to us, and we'll look at it, it can't hurt to look at it. Right? If we're not gonna cost, it's not gonna cost us anything right now, but go for it. Let's see what they say.
All right, we have a motion on the resolution. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No.
Motion fails. Oh, I'm
2
sorry.
to 1.
The
I
Yeah,
said no, so it's 2-1.
Oh, thank you. A majority of the members present voted in favor.
All right, we can move past that one. Down into new business and moving right along. The C-Hub grant application. That's on the lights and what's already been mentioned. Do we need to cover anything else about that? Rudy?
Yeah, we do. So, yeah, just to kind of zoom out a bit when it comes to FDOT. So we're dealing with a couple different things here. So the way the grant process has evolved, it's really what we're talking about: the fencing, the lighting, the crane rail, and the roofs. Those are kind of one-time ad hoc grant thing. In effect, we lobbied FDOT, hey, we've got these near-term things that need to be fixed we were lucky enough where they had excess funds and they allowed us to do so. So that's sort of, those grants are out of cycle. Same thing with the crane refurbishment, out of cycle. You know, I don't think that we can count on that being a regular thing. So that's over here. Over here is our annual application to the state for other things, other than those. So, you know, time is short. You know, I sort of had to take this on, and give it my best shot. Do you have is this live? You might
No,
want to
it's
pull up
not.
the browser with the live.
Yeah, I cannot on that,
You don't have Wi-Fi?
on that computer. That computer does not hold a lot of data, so I cannot.
But if you log on to C Hub,
Right, I can't on that computer.
That's
I-
the one that's projecting. In front of her is not
Is
projecting.
my,
Oh.
correct.
This is just over there on the.
It's a different
projector.
got it.
computer,
Okay.
sorry.
So I tried to explain, because I've shifted some things around. So you've got the FSTED application, and Vice Chairman, hop in here and, if I'm going off. So you got the FSTED applications. Those are your two things that are more near term that, hey, these would kind of like, you know, whack-a-mole things. We're trying to knock out some things in the near term. The SPY program is the bigger long-term things they want to see on a recurring basis. That's sort of your big strategic items. You choose 5 of those. And then there's a security grant as well. So there's 3 avenues here. So for the FSTED, I chose 2, and it's up for debate. I can still pivot, and there's a lot to write in these. I've already filled everything out, but I don't mind redoing them if the board wants to go a different direction. So number 1 was a container handler replacement. I've talked about this. You know, the 2 workhorses on the port are 1990 models. When you look at the business, Summers Isle, of course, I'd love to have another container line there, but what we have right now, you know, we can't really afford a brand new container handler for the revenue we get from Summers Isle, just to be honest. So we did consult with FDOT. They gave us the green light. Yes, you may buy rolling stock with FDOT funds in coordination with OPA, but it can only be for very large, so it couldn't be a 12K forklift that could just drive away. It's got to be something that's large. It can be mobile, but it's going to be large that it cannot leave the premises ever without your. So what I envision is we would put out an RFP for maybe even a lightly used one with factory warranty, put it out there to all the major the dealers in the areas, about 4 of them, and see what comes back. FDOT pays half, we pay the other half, and then there's a joint letter agreement between us and OPA that, hey, this is a joint asset that conveys to OPA eventually, you know, whenever, but it never leaves the premises. And it has to be used for port activity, which it will be. So that was number 1. I'll stop there. Any concerns? Okay. Number 2, what did I put?
Excuse me, Ted, what was the capacity on that one?
The lifting capacity?
What are you looking for?
90,000 pounds is about a loaded container handler. Yeah.
Fine.
Good question though, because they do make empty handlers. They make empty handlers, they make chassis flippers, and we don't want those. And then number 2 would be CBP facility final phase. I mean, it's one of those where, so I had a conversation with our federal lobbyist, and he said, listen, I've stomped around DC and I'm not getting a lot of traction on finding, which is, to me, is crazy. It's one of the most well-funded government agencies ever, and they can't find money. So what I did was I threw it in here under FSTED, the final amount to get us over that hump, knowing we probably won't get that much, but every little bit helps in this phase. But if y'all feel like that's not a good approach, I can pivot.
I think we're running out of options.
Well, and Mr. Chairman, I would add that the reason I put it in here is that, you know, I think we got a much better standing with FDOT and our lobbying of FDOT to get some of these, the roof, the rail, the lighting, to get that stuff fixed. Otherwise, I'd probably have one of those on here. So I think we're lucky, and I think this hopefully can just keep chipping away at this thing, because I want to get this facility done. So I'll stop there. Those are the two FSTED that I presented, but open to discussion and we can pivot.
Yeah, just a little bit of background, a lot of changes going on in Halsted. Certainly with the C-Hub grant process in years past, we were able to put in five Halsted grants this year. With changes, you have to get me put in two, and you have to prioritize it. Your number one priority, number two. That's why it's a little bit different this year than it has been in the past. But you can only do two FSTED main per year. Next year, it'll be two more probably. Like hopefully that don't get funded on will be number one next year. It'll move up like that.
Or they can fund both of them.
Or they could fund both of them for the full. FSTED often does cut the grants by a little bit. So there's no guarantee that we'll get the full amount of those. You put your name in the ring, and hopefully you make a good case and they fund it. Limited to two for the FSTED main line. The SPY program, that is for more long-term projects. I don't have a lot of fidelity on how they fund that on a year-to-year basis.
It's pretty blurry.
Yeah, a lot of it's especially what's going on with FSTED, a little bit vague and then nebulous at this point, exactly how they're going to do it. But and then the FSTED security program is completely different. That is a rolling application phase. And do they put that in C-Hub now, or is that just a letter?
They put it in C-Hub, you have to upload a document. So
it's a different.
Yeah,
process.
and I put CVP in the security grant category, because if you remember, we won that security grant last time. So we're going to be putting in automated gates, and now we're going to be taking care of the lighting. Thanks. So, and the fencing. So I think security wise, like you think once we get that stuff fixed, we'll be pretty tightened up, won't we?
Yes, sir.
And so that's why I said, well, why not put CVP in the security? It does relate directly to security of the port. And so again, it's one of these things but it's $1 million that gets spread out through all the ports. So we may get 50, 60,000, but again, every little bit counts.
Yep.
But then the things I really want y'all's feedback on are the SPY program. So what I did was I went to the PIDP and I pulled out certain sections. So one is the dock repair and refurbishment. I think that's the most important one. To get under that dock, start fixing some of these crack pilings and some of the neglect that's going on there. I'll also put in there for the flood mitigation and stormwater management. So that would be the sort of the plan that Aptum outlined, where we would install new drainage, fix the drainage, one-way valves, the surge water storage, and then the 4 pump stations to get the water out of the port. No, it's not a eternal fix for these king tides, but it will help, and it will help keep the port dry versus what we have now. So that's sort of the 1 and 2. And then I put on there port resurfacing. If you drive around the port, we still got places to brick pavers. We've got a lot of, kind of roller coaster type environments out there. This is sort of my idea is to start a campaign, just like the dock repair, where we take bites of the apple, where it doesn't get to where we have potholes and waves so big that trucks are bottoming out. I think we take this thing in chunks, knowing that we probably won't get the full funding amount, but at least we'll chip away at it. Another thing along that same line is the berth bollard fendering replacement, phase too. So I altered it a little bit. So instead of just fendering, I said fendering and bollards. So what it would do is we would go out there, do an assessment, and like I walked the dot with Brandon, he said, I would like, yes, we would like to do a fendering, but he said these bollards are going to need replacing too. We can't forget about those. So I altered it a little bit this afternoon to do bollard fendering replacement. That's sort of a lower cost one. I put in a ask for 300,000, which I think is a little more reasonable. And then the very last one was the North Berth extension. I sent out the article about Fort Pierce. That was sort of an alarm bell to me. I mean, these guys are gearing up, and I think we have a really good opportunity. We have our foot in the door now. The world's changing. I never want this place to not handle cargo, but I also see the opportunities there. And I can tell you, the people in Tallahassee do not want the space industry going to another state, period. And they will do whatever it takes to keep it here. So those are sort of my 5 things. I know I did a lot of talking, but happy to entertain any discussion, any follow-up by Vice Chairman.
No, I think that's, an excellent way of approaching, maintenance, especially when we're going for grant maintenance is, certainly there's the PID fee that we're hopeful that we get full funding on this year, but we need to, I don't want to say the state money is a backup plan, but,
It'd be a good problem to have.
almost is a backup plan, and we recognize the difficulty in getting a PID grant. So we've broken the project up into constituent parts and are trying to fund it, through an alternate source. That way we're not constantly, sitting back and hoping we can get, the full grant, the full grant, the full federal grant, the full federal grant. While the wharf slowly crumbles into the ocean. I think it's a much better way to look at the grant process and using federal and state together.
Correct. And, if, let's say, worst case scenario, we don't get PIDP grant, I would much rather take a $400,000 state grant and go under that dock and fix like the most glaring ones. Just start chipping away at it. Because if you don't, it gets away from you, and getting it back is hard.
Yeah, actually. With those explanations and your due diligence and pursuing this and following it, the investigation that you've spent countless dollars on engineers coming in and looking at this. I know there's a deadline on this on the 16th, correct? I have no problem with you proceeding in what we've seen because we need to get this and we need to continue to move forward. Do we need a vote on this?
I was gonna add one more thing, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just to ease your mind a bit on the North Berth extension. I did meet with the pilots, and I sort of talked with them for about an hour about it. And, they explained to me the approach, the way the vessels come in, how we would have to do things. And they are okay with relativity, by the way. There, it seemed to me that their opinion is we would just keep the tug berth going in the same orientation, just keep extending it instead of starting over with a new berth, because the way the vessels come in, they really want any berth extension pointed away from that approach. So in here, I had a $5 million ask. I think that can come way down now because we're just going to be extending. So just to back up, the reason I wanted to do sort of take out what's there now and do a new berth was to keep the orientation going north, or we could possibly sneak an OSV or a tug on the backside of a new dock. They don't seem to like that idea because whatever vessel would be on the west side, they think could be jutting out too much. And with relativity, now your approach is compromised and you have a smaller turning basin. So I'm going to take their advice and go with kind of option B, if you will, with the North Berth extension idea, if you will.
But that's contingent obviously on getting the grant and
Yeah.
engineering. all that'll go into.
But I did get,
Administration.
Yep.
All that'll go into the, not negotiation, but the engineering determination on what's best.
but the good news is I did, while we were going through the process with the Aptum on a lot of stuff, kind of forgot that I commissioned them to look at this. And so I do have cost estimates, to do the extension.
So are you looking for a vote from the board on all of these entries and basically grant out, applying for these?
Well, yeah, so we have to submit. I mean, I won't submit. So it's the way it's set up is I have a C Hub login, but I am not,
Authorized to.
Right. I'm there to enter information and up, but I can't hit submit. I don't have that power.
But you do want direction from the board.
Yeah, because it's today, it's gonna be,
16th is next week.
it's gonna be Friday and Monday. I've got to work on this.
Tuesday's the
So,
deadline.
so all the information is put in. Great job getting that information in, Ted. So now it's just incumbent on us to make a decision whether to tell.
It's
our
the
guys to,
consent and
proceed.
Yeah, you're authorizing Rosanna to submit the grants as laid out.
Right.
So, which is the next step of the process, right?
Okay.
Obviously, it's taken by FDOT to.
And again, with his due diligence, and checking the facts, I have no reservation than to move this forward.
I'll make a motion, well, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead, I don't wanna.
No, I was gonna ask for the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that, approve these, grant, requests and give me the authorization.
Submit.
Everyone see,
And I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Tell me when to.
Yeah,
Hit
we'll,
submit.
I'll, Friday and Monday, we're gonna be working at it.
Thank you.
Moving down to, D, the PTGA, appropriations on the customs. Any discussion on that moving forward?
Should we explain why this is up again? Because the board previously approved this grant. However, there's still that question about the local match of the $73,000. FDOT is not removing that.
Well, they're
Go ahead.
modifying it.
Go ahead.
So long story short, there should be no match. It's an appropriation. The way the wheels turn in Tallahassee, I don't understand, but we go from $73,500 to $9,450. I don't understand why, but I don't think we're gonna move this any further, so we agree for the local match.
So they're asking for $9,000.
$453, I think is what it is. $450.
$9,450 as the local match, and the operator through Ted has agreed to pay that match should it be required.
So,
It's in the agreement. When I say should it be required, maybe they'll change their mind again. I don't know. But it is, we have a grant agreement that we need approval from the board and a vote tonight.
so I will make a motion that we approve the grant agreement as listed. The packet today.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The new business, we'll move into the office manager report.
Thank you, Chair. Just one thing, Relay staff and myself participated in the C-Hub disaster report training on June 5th. Now, the operator has C-Hub access, so is able to enter real-time incident, right? In C-Hub.
I mean, yes,
Well,
I,
Travis can.
yeah, I have a log. That's a good question. We should ask FDOT if Travis should get one specifically for disaster reporting. So basically, Mr. Chairman, they're updating the way communications happen during a natural disaster. And the way it was described on the call is before our hurricane's coming, and it's like, okay, our hurricane's coming, and then there's just mass email, and then it's just this chaos of information. This will be one repository where people can get updated information and also upload real-time information, especially places that are hit. Is that kind of summing up well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So they're using the C Hub as a secondary reporting apparatus, if you will.
My question is the board comfortable with giving another access to another person?
I mean, we can use my log. I don't care.
I think they prefer to have him, his own, I mean, it shouldn't matter. I mean,
Right, right.
again, you can't submit grants or anything, obviously the grants will get submitted, the official still goes but yeah, for security and stuff like that, I don't think they're gonna like sharing
You're gonna,
IDs, and so obviously if Travis needs to do something in there, he should get access to it. I mean, if unless the commissioner's gonna take that role on in a disaster role, if he's the primary person in the disaster role, and C-Hub has that role in the disaster, that he should have access.
Yeah, that's a good point. If a chairman wants to,
Yeah, if you guys wanna take on that, somebody needs to do it, obviously.
He's gonna be at the terminal. He's gonna see the incident or the issue quicker than we would. We don't need time delay. We need to be able to move forward. I have no issue with you having your own login.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Is that
So,
the board consensus,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
do we need a
we
motion?
need to vote on it.
are you comfortable with that?
I just need it on the minutes, so it'll,
Okay, go ahead.
it's documented.
Make a motion and vote.
All right, I make a motion that we give a C-Hub access to Travis for emergency preparedness and disaster recovery.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The information that comes from the port, when we have emergency management here in Nassau County, we activate the EOC. I use the information that I can get from the port to relay that to everyone there. And things like the opening of the port and the Coast Guard or the Coast Guard that goes out and verifies that, okay,
the channel's clear.
the channel's clear. All these things are vital. It's a good report, and to have it be able to get logged onto it immediately is great.
Yeah. And I mean, the Coast Guard does an excellent job keeping everybody in that loop. So. Okay. Anything else on that?
That's it. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other business on your agenda?
Nothing specifically, nothing with this Corps of Engineers. I am still trying to access, dredging issues. I have nothing here, but I'm not dead end, but still other avenues out there.
Well, again, we're back to moving in a direction that we can, putting the money into the account. So we are making forward motion.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, I just want to bring up to the operator that, per section 2.3 of the operating agreement, on July 1st, a written maintenance report for the vehicle building shed, shack, scale, and warehouse, and projected expenses, maintenance, repair, and replacement for the next fiscal year.
So I would ask that if we could put that in the meeting packet for the meeting on the
June
8th,
7-8.
you on it? Or so you good with that?
I couldn't hear what you said, I'm sorry. Oh, just in accordance with section 2.3 of the operating agreement, July 1st, there's a written maintenance report for every vehicle building shed, shack, scale, warehouse, to include projected expenses and maintenance replacement repair for the next fiscal year.
Every request has never really,
Yeah, we've never really done it.
said I do it, but, you know, you can work on it.
Yeah, but I think it's important, you know. This goes back to the, you know, deferred maintenance and making sure that the board is properly maintained.
Well, I mean,
That we know.
yeah. This one should be easier than last year because we've done so much work on this grant stuff. We kind of know where everything stands.
That'll allow us to track it, that'll allow you, you know, visibility about, what needs to be repaired, what doesn't need to be repaired.
And what's the deadline to get that in the packet?
Well, the deadline by the, operating agreement is July 1st, obviously, we're gonna.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we get it in the packet. What we-
Friday before, before you, yeah, the Friday before. For
The
sure, by
meeting.
end of business.
So July 3rd.
Yeah. Three weeks to, so what we'll do, we'll pull last year's and just compare and contrast.
The only thing I have is to remind everybody that, our next meeting, will be July the 8th in this room. So just please mark your calendar. We don't want you going over to the PEG Center. And I would like to say to everybody here, since the 250th birthday of our nation is coming up. So, we'll celebrate that on July the 4th. I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. Enjoy the freedoms that we still have. You know, lost a lot in this country, but we still have more than most. So, and to you, Ted, and to Travis, I've seen great strides on both of your parts to come together. As I once described the two fire departments working on the vessel fire. I've never seen teamwork like that before in my life. They came together, they accomplished their task of extinguishing that fire. And I see us moving in that same direction. We have to work together. We have our differences, we can agree to disagree, but we still have to get the job done for the people and the port, as well as the taxpayers of Nassau County. I appreciate everything that y'all do, so we'll move forward without any further ado. Any further questions?
I just wanted to remind everybody, I will not be here in person on July 8th. I'll be out of town at a conference, but I will be on the telephone in case there's any questions.
Yeah, I would just say the number one thing, we got to get those, crane refurbishment
Oh, absolutely.
docks done.
And I have it right now. I'll be working on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
For waiter salary,
Excuse me.
All right, any further questions?